Welcome to the part 1 of our 2-video series on building multi-agent systems with a central orchestrator and child agents. In this first video, we're focusing squarely on how to set up and configure the child agent. It's late at night and you're at the computer trying to piece together everything you did over the past month so you can send a professional report to your client tomorrow morning. But in reality, it doesn't have to be that way at all. But I can tell you that you could have this report auto-generated for you that lists all of the tasks and major accomplishments broken down by the channel, and then within it broken down by the type of the task, just like this, with all the statuses indicated, so the client can see this and understand your work done professionally. And you can have this delivered to the client automatically, or at least delivered to you in a draft, so you can actually check it before you deliver that to the client.
And what if I tell you this all could be done while you are asleep? Yep.
Let's imagine this situation. Suppose you are a consultant or freelancer and you have a number of clients that you're doing the work for, and you generate the report about your tasks done every month and send that to their clients. Let's say you have a main table called clients, where you have a client name, last time report was processed, and whether the client is active. And so this is a fictitious data, but if you apply this to your situation, you may have a collection of tables or your client tracking system where you keep track of all the tasks that you performed for that client or for that many clients. Let's imagine that this is that table where you have all of the tasks, but they're broken up by to do, done, and so forth for each client. And so things in this table could be such as client name, the end date, meaning when that report is due, the main channel, for example, Google Business. You might be doing something with the client Google Business online, modifying something. They are posting something for Google Business. Maybe you're doing something for clients TripAdvisor, putting photos or maintaining that Yelp TripAdvisor pages. Maybe you're doing with updating, creating websites. Maybe you have a mail marketing campaign that you created for the client. Maybe you have answered certain reviews or posted certain things on Facebook. Whatever your tasks are, you record it in your table, and then you record what the task was, what the detail about the task was, if applicable, what the status was, like done, fixed problem, and so forth, the date that particular task was accomplished, what the benefit was, and the importance, such as normal, critical, high, and so forth. So this is where you have the running list of all the tasks that you performed and will perform, broken up by the month and the client. In our final scenario, the scheduler contacts the report agents. Each report agent signals its success back to the scheduler, which then commits the transaction. So let's now look at report builder agent. So this is our reporting generation agent. This agent calls Notion, returns data, and generates a report. For this demonstration, and currently, we're not calling this agent from the pairing agent yet. We're testing this agent and how this agent works in isolation. Therefore, I have created this as a workbench to be able to quickly test how this isolated agent, how this logic works, regardless of who calls it. So now we're temporarily setting the variable where we specify the client ID, which is a Notion table, the client name, and the cycle end date. That's our filter. That information will come from the parent table. Parent, actually parent agent. But since we're not calling it right now, we need to set it temporarily. At this point of time, we're calling Notion. We do need to specify all the necessary information like Notion URL, like authorization, tokens, and so forth. And we specify this filter to say which tables will be called, what's the relationships, and what are we filtering on. In this case, we're saying get all the records from this table for this client that have statuses of done, fixed, or roadblock. And then we sort it. So then, once it gets that data, that is JSON, but it has a lot of data that may be not needed for us for this purpose. First, we say, is there any data returned? What could be is that a person who has this client tracking database may not have filled anything there or forgot or whatever happens. If there is no data to deal with for this specific range of dates, then we just display the message for ourselves. It's for our debugging purposes. But if there is data, if a Notion returns any data that means if at least one task was present in this month, then we need to normalize this to be able to extract what we need from that Notion output and create an object to then pass to the report. And let's look at this. We're telling it you have Notion output. That means the JSON that comes out of Notion. You have all these inputs that right now are set in the variable, but will come from the parent agent. And then we're telling you how to extract the data, what to look for, and then to create an object like this, where we have client ID, client name, cycle end date, the generated at report date, and the sections. Now, what are the sections? The sections are these specific sections. It will group and compress by the section. Say, we'll report everything that the person have done for, let's say, Google reviews, and then everything that this person has done for TripAdvisor. So it doesn't have the redundant entries. It goes client, task, and so forth. Now, back to this one. So now that we actually normalize this for our purposes, we can then generate asset. And so this was generated using Vibe coding. But what it does, it shows you a custom generated HTML report. So it gets as an input the output of normalized variable, which is final report. And then it outputs what we call formatted HTML variable. And then as a add-on value, it sends that report to you. It's creating a draft so you can look at that report before you send it to the client. In part 2, we'll show how the main agent repeatedly calls the report agent to generate reports.